G'day and welcome. All right, so 12 o'clock, day shot. Now I'm not going to get much done. Dog's not getting much done. All right, so I was successful. I got ride number 13, and I didn't go very far. I just wanted to give the battery a little charge. Now, normally it takes a good 45 minutes of riding to do that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the bike sit for maybe half an hour, and then I'm going to try a restart. The reason why I'm going to do it that way is just simply just to know that, okay, if I stop somewhere, I was going to wait 15 minutes, but I want to make sure that battery's not so weakened that when it cools down, that I'm going to be stuck somewhere. You know, I definitely don't want to be stuck somewhere. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the battery out. I'm just going to charge it up because I better get that battery off the ground. I'm going to charge that one up too. That's going to be my booster battery. And then what I'm going to do is I'll call it a day. It's too late to go do my insurance today, so maybe tomorrow I'll do it. I don't know if I'll take the bike. I think I just got to do that, and then, you know, this thing's going to be on probation for the next week. You know, making sure that I can start and stop at places, keep the trips. The trips can be long as it's running. It's just I don't want to stop somewhere like 100 miles out, and then all of a sudden got to get that sucker towed back. Wouldn't be. I wonder if I should probably invest in a set of motorcycle booster cables. They're small. Like, I mean, I can't carry these big brutes with me here. They're just too big. But that might be a good idea. I can probably fit them in there. I'm going to be revising my tool bag eventually. Anyway, as you work on your bike, you're going to see what's not in the bag. Little bits and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I need this. I need this Torx, or I need whatever. So if you have to do a roadside maintenance, hopefully not. It's quite a bit. These type of bikes are just definitely not the bikes. They're not mechanic friendly on the roadside. I want to say that. There's way too many parts you got to take off just to do the simplest things. So I got to figure out the starting problem. So my next fuel tank. What I'm going to do is, once the tank's low enough, I'm going to take the tank right off. I might do it today, might do it tomorrow, I don't know. It's just there's almost a full tank in there, and it's, you know, having that slopping around, whatever. It's a lot easier to take off a light tank than a heavy tank. Plus, I don't want to drop and scratch the tank either, so, or dent it or anything like that. But what I might do is, what I have to do is I got to see what those, if I can repair those. What I'm assuming now, if those things are in perfect condition, those little hot starters or whatever, that's what I call them. There's another name for them, but basically they hook up. They're like 4 cables. They hook up to each throttle body, and on your cold start, that's what regulates everything for you. It hooks up to like a little motor or whatever. I'm not 100% sure how they work because I haven't seen them close up, but once I do, then I'll know for sure. And what it'll do is, I think all they are is probably like just little solenoids that let in more or less air, fuel air mixture, just to regulate till you get going. Then once you get going, then it's good. If they're cracked and I can repair them, I'll do that. But I'm going to call Triumph and, first I'm going to make sure that's what it is, because it's going to cost me $80 to replace the. $50 to $80 to replace the plugs, depending on where I get them. If I get them from the Canadian Tire, it's $11 a plug, which is outrageous. But anywhere else so far has been $18. I can get them in the garage just on the other side of the town, but it's still $18 a plug. So times that by 4, and the plugs might be brand new in this. I'm pretty sure they are. But if that's not the starting problem, then I'm not going to put money where, especially when money's so tight these days, I'm not going to put money where it's not needed. That's kind of like afterthought stuff. So if it needs those little hot starter cables or whatever, hopefully they're not too expensive, but they're probably, because it's Triumph, it's probably going to be, like, for example, one fuel injector on this sucker is worth $182 for a fuel injector. So you get the idea. This is the dilemma you get with older bikes, is that the fixes might be simple, but they're all expensive, and you have to weigh how much money you're willing to put into a bike, how long you're going to be keeping this bike. This bike, I can't see myself getting rid of it anytime soon. So yeah, if I over the next 5 years put $2,000 into it of maintenance stuff or replacement stuff, okay, fine, I'm okay with that. I won't get my money back out of it, but I don't care, because it's not a bike that I'm going to be, This is not one of those bikes that you buy with the idea of trading up in you know, like while you're riding, you're thinking, oh, geez, I can't wait till I get my next bike. I don't get that with this bike. Maybe you would. Maybe, you know, everybody's different. Maybe you're dreaming of a different type of bike, sure. But on this bike, I'm like, I grin from ear to ear every time I'm on it. I actually don't want anything else. I do. So it is a bike that's worth investing. I don't want to do too many things with it, but like I said in a previous video, having a $1,500 kind of budget for the season of Murphy, it's a good idea because you never know what's going to pop up. But again, this bike being a 2003, even though it's a 2002 model, the end production run was of this specific bike was in 2003 before they came out with the new one. What you're stuck with is that things are old, they're worn out, and you know, it's different if you get the bike and you have another bike that you're riding and you could zero time this bike. Say, okay, well, I'm going to just replace everything and go. But most bikes, you're not going to do that. You're going to replace it as you need to, right? So, but the most likely thing, I don't think it's the fuel mapping. I think the fuel mapping is fine because this bike runs fine. It's just that starting problem. And these Triumphs are known for those little rubber caps on those hot starters or whatever. Going. So if I look in there and those things are in mint condition and they're not cracked at all, then it means it's something else. And if it's the battery is not the strongest battery in the world. It's a new battery last year, and this will be my second battery in the bike. Now the battery I got the bike with, I don't think was brand new. I thought it was, but then I don't know, indication it probably wasn't. But maybe this bike is really hard on batteries. You know, it gets... but the thing is that when I started the bike rolled over fine. It wasn't not starting because there wasn't enough juice to roll it over. I flooded it and then I killed the battery. But the thing now I know is that if this bike doesn't start on the very first try, don't keep trying, because I killed that battery. I drained this battery really fast, and like I said with these Triumphs, I don't know if they're all like that, but this one specifically, once that battery gets down low, you got no electronics whatsoever. It's off. Like I haven't tried a bump start on this bike. That's something I want to do, is just roll down the hill, see if I can bump start it, like second gear, third gear, just to see if you could do that. But I don't think it will, because if your battery gets too low and it, you know, basically kills the power to save the battery, which I guess is a good thing, but then you can't bump start it. So it's kind of like one of those things where if you know that, then you can, you know, let's say you try like 3 starts. It's like, okay, well, I know I flooded it, so there's a hill here. I'll just roll down the hill and just let out the clutch in second or third gear until the bump starts. And then that way I don't have to kill the battery, you know. Once it's running, it's running. But the big thing is that cold startup. So I'm going to let it sit for about a half an hour, maybe even an hour, and then I'm going to try a cold startup just to see if it fires up. Then I'll call that a day. Then I'll pull the battery out. I'll put it on the charger anyway, just top it up. Maybe I have to take the, you know, my charging system, it seemed to put back the 14.5 volts at 4,500 to 6,000. It'll do about that. And that's normal. I've already tested that last year. Maybe got to test that again this year. So again, I don't think it's really a battery problem. I think I just killed the battery. But the idea is that this battery, it's not hard to kill it. So good to know, but it still doesn't tell me why I'm having these starting problems. I don't think it's the fuel mapping. I don't think it's the plugs. It's possible, but if there was weak plugs in there, I'd be getting all kinds of backfirings and stuff like that. I get the odd one. Like if I'm really hammering on it and then close the throttle really fast, I might get a pop. If I downshift, you know, with the clutch in really fast, I might get a pop. But that happens like once, twice a week. So it's like, and you really got to work it. You really got to work it to get extra fuel in there. So I don't think it's the plugs. Now it could be the plugs, but giving my starting problems. But then you would have running problems. Like, I mean, this bike, like today especially, just running so smooth today. No, I think it's going to be those hot starters, but I won't know until I pull it apart. I'm almost terrified to call Triumph if it is those. I'm almost terrified to call Triumph to see how much they're going to be worth. I can imagine they're going to be like $100 each or something. So you'll be looking at anywhere from $200 to $400 to fix. It seems like this bike, everything on it is going to be $300, $200 to $300 to fix. It just seems like everything's like that. Bikes aren't cheap anymore. Even, and it's not just because it's Triumph. I'm sure if it was a GSXR, like for example, I priced out just to price it out, a stator and a regulator would cost $800 for a new stator and regulator. But it'd probably, maybe 2/3 of that cost if it was a Japanese bike. It'd be a little bit cheaper, but it's still going to be outrageously expensive. So like years ago when you used to buy spark plugs for, I don't know, $5, $6 a piece, $3 a piece, depending on the bike. It was like, you'd replace them for fun. You know what I mean? Just to zero time it. But now I got to be very smart with how I work on this bike and stuff like that. So for today, I didn't go very far. Only maybe about 10 kilometers. Probably my shortest run I've done on. It is the shortest run I've done on the bike this year. It's too late in the day to go renew my insurance. So what I'm going to do instead is basically pull the battery out, or maybe not pull the battery out, but just disconnect it, hook up the charger till I see a green light on the charger, nice slow trickle charge, just to make sure the battery's 100%, because they do wear down over time. It doesn't hurt maybe if you're doing a lot of riding, especially if you're doing a lot of city riding, stop and go stuff, like you're never riding more than like 10 minutes at a time, and then you're finding that you come out every now and then, your battery's dead on you like 5 times a year. What it is that it takes about 45 minutes to get a really good charge on the battery. So if you're not out there more than 45 minutes at a time at moderate speed, I'm not talking low speed, I'm talking like highway speeds. If you're out there for 45 minutes highway speed, your battery's always going to be charged up and fresh. But if you're just like city riding, 2,000 RPM, 3,000 RPM, sometimes what happens is it doesn't charge up enough. And then over time, you come out and you got a dead battery. So it wouldn't hurt maybe if you did it once a month, whether it needed to or not. Just hook the trickle charger to it, top it up, and then So I'm going to do that today after I fire it up. And then I'll put it on the trickle charge, and I should be good for tomorrow. And then again, the bike will be on probation for starts and stops, because there's nothing worse than going out on a tour and you want to stop and talk to everybody. I do that. I see bikers parked, I'll stop and talk to them just because, hey, what bike do you got? Oh, hey, where are you going from? How far are you going? Oh, yeah, new bike, new old bike, and you know how it goes. It is a social life, right? But you don't want to stop unless you know you can start. So I just want to work that out. I think this will be just kind of one of those glitch days. It gave me attitude today, and hopefully things will work out. But it is an older bike, like anything, and that's part of motorcycling. And I got to clean this thing too. Yeah, that's probably why it did it to me, because it's dirty saying, if you don't clean me, I'm not going to run for you. Yeah. All right, anyway, I'll keep you posted. All right, there you go.